Alright, so before I bought this transmission, I called up the guys at Tilton to ask if this would work because they had two different models, one for a TKX, one for a T5, and he said everything is compatible and everything will work. And it does. It fits on there and everything works besides your pivot. And now on the ad it just says that, see, it's a different thread. It's like a fine thread and we need a coarse thread. But now on the website it says that it works for GM T5, Ford T5, TKO, TKX, and I'm wondering if I should call them and tell them that it's not similar and that it's different thread pitches for your stud, hydraulic throw bearing stud. And I could go ahead and buy one, but it wouldn't be here for a few days. So I decided to kind of make my own. I went out and got a bolt, and I figured 20 minutes with a grinder, I can grind this off, grind it down to where it'll work. It's a little ghetto. Is it gonna work? Absolutely. Well, probably. But I just didn't want to wait. I wanted to have all this done by the end of the weekend, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then hopefully can start installing the transmission. Doing sketchy shit with an angle grinder? Are you even a mechanic? Yeah, freaking thought so, bud. Man, I'm so bad at filming. Well, it was a struggle, but I got the new transmission in. Gonna have to buy like a pigtail for the reverse switch, and I'm just gonna finish up mounting up the transmission and then mounting up the exhaust, and then since it's the weekend, the drive shaft shop is closed, so I'm gonna hopefully Monday after work be able to get the drive shaft all figured out, get it lengthened. I'm gonna measure it right now, and then get a bigger yoke on there. And right now I'm gonna work on bolting this up and get the transmission completely mounted in there. So I got the transmission mount all installed. I got my e-brake cable all installed. I had to do quite a bit of trimming on this. Like right here I had to trim for it to clear the transmission. And I've drilled holes in this. I've had to trim this up so many times. So one day we're gonna have to get a new transmission crossmember, or whatever they're called. And we also ended up getting the exhaust all hooked up, which it would be quite a task to film it because it's already a pain to get wrenches up in there and get all your tools up in there to put on the manifold. And you kind of have to put on since we had this manifold off, you kind of have to put this on loosely and then bolt these up loosely for your like cross pipe crossover. And then once you have it all loosely, you can start tightening things up. There's these two bolts are kind of easy to get to. I put anti-seize on there, but the one over here is extremely difficult to get to because you just can't get a wrench on it or anything. So I'm gonna go ahead now and start bleeding my clutch. I'm gonna put a tube to this going into a like old .3 and then just start bleeding the clutch. And damn, bro, damn boy, she thick. So I decided to put on my wheels and tires. I test fitted this wheel before I did that, and everything worked out fine, so I just assumed the other one was the exact same. And I went to put them on, and the other wheel didn't fit. Like the lug pattern was just a little bit smaller, and these are like made to order wheels, so I waited like 2 months in order to get them. And so I had to take the other wheel, package it up, ship it, return it. I'm gonna be waiting another 2 months to run these wheels and tires, but I used to run a setup like this. They were a little bit smaller, but they were as wide, and I really liked them, so I wanted to get another setup like that. But it's going to be a while till we do that, so we're going to go ahead and put our old wheels and tires on and try not to do burnouts while we're breaking our clutch, because these tires are just, they're shot, but they're just burners pretty much. Okay, so I got a tube going up to my my bleed cable, and I got this filled up, and I'm just gonna keep pumping the clutch pedal until I get some resistance. There's this like master cylinder down here, and you have your reservoir up here. This is kind of a pain to bleed, because once you feel that resistance, an air bubble gets trapped in the reservoir because it's going at an angle, and so you have to disconnect it from the clutch pedal and then manually pump that air bubble out as you kind of tilt it up, and that way it gets rid of your air bubble. I've done this like a few times, so we'll just get started on pumping up our clutch and seeing if we can get that to happen. Okay, so I think I have this bled enough. I actually didn't need to disconnect the clutch at all. I mean, it feels pretty good. I don't know if there's still an air bubble inside of there, but I started disconnecting this, and I'm like, you know, we're not really gonna be able to tell anything, but there is definitely resistance, and I can't see if it's operating. Oh, it's dirty under there. I can't see if it's operating the pressure plate or anything, but I do have, I think that this will fit. I have this clutch stop. I don't know where I'm gonna have to put it. Definitely doesn't fit there. It probably would work here. And I'm gonna wait to adjust it. You know, I might need to get a different clutch stop. I don't know if this is even gonna work, but I need to wait to adjust it till I get my drive shaft, and I can see if all this is working, but I'm pretty sure the clutch is bled. This feels pretty solid, so moving on to the next thing. All right, so this is the last thing I think we can do because we're waiting on parts. I bought this like adapter. I thought my original one would work, but this one, it actually clips in here, and it just screws on the original speedometer cable. I don't think we need this, but if it fits, we'll use it and see how accurate it is. But since I'm always swapping out my size tires, I'm not sure what gear I needed, so I just went with what I originally had in there, and if the speedometer is a little off, then that'll be okay. But we're gonna go ahead and install this. Okay, so this should just slip right in here, which it does. I don't know if it's in all the way. I think it is. And then we have our bolt with some Loctite on there, and I'm just putting Loctite on there because it had Loctite. I don't think it needs it, but when I took the bolt out, it had Loctite on it. Oh, I dropped my bolt. All right, well, it took a little finagling, but we got it in there. I think it's in there all the way. The O-ring isn't showing, so we'll just check to see if it leaks whenever we put fluid in, and then this should just screw in and go in here. Yep. And this just swivels around. I don't like how that's hanging down, so we'll figure something out here. Okay, well, I think when we get the chance, we'll just zip tie this up kind of above the frame rail, and then we'll also zip tie up our bleed cable thing for our clutch, and This is gonna go over here, and we're gonna splice in when we get our thing for our reverse light. So okay, so I think I'm gonna end off the video here. We are waiting for parts. We still need to do the reverse switch, wiring that up, and when we get our drive shaft, we can fill it with trans fluid and then bolt our shifter on. And then make a cover for the trans tunnel whenever we get our shifter on. But for now, I think that's all we can do until we get our parts. So I'm probably gonna end the video off here. I did manage to take my wheel and tire off, and so that way I'm not waiting like 2 months in order to drive this thing. I also have some other spares over there. Those are bigger tires. Not as big as these. These are pretty freaking massive. I also bolted these up because this one wasn't too bad, but the other one was like falling off. So I got some bolts and kind of bolted it up better. So that should last another, I don't know, like 5,000 miles, and then I'll have to redo it again. All right, I think we're gonna set the video off here. We managed to get a lot done on the vehicle, but I'm just waiting on parts, so there's nothing really more I can do. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Join the 10mm crew. All you gotta do is subscribe and then get a 10mm, put it on your keychain. You can also follow me on TikTok at 10mm_crew. And sometimes I'm posting videos about this on there. I got some good stuff on there. It's fun to watch. So yeah, until next time, peace.